You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
We grieve for the terrible loss of life and send our support and love to everyone affected by this absolutely horrific attack.
Amid another chaotic week in Washington, President Trump responds to a deadly shooting at a Texas high school. Will the summit with North Korea take place, and efforts to tip the scale as the Russian investigation heats up? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on what's happening in Washington coming up. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. And our top story tonight, another deadly shooting, this time at a Texas high school. 10 people are dead. And as Omar Jimenez reports, a number of explosive devices were also found in and around the Santa Fe school.
Still have several more shots from him. He's actually shooting. He's in the art room. We got shots fired right now, guys. We need all of you.
Officials say that 9 students and 1 teacher are dead after 17-year-old Dimitrios Pagorchis allegedly walked into an art class at Santa Fe High School in Galveston County, Texas, and opened fire. Witnesses described running from the school when they heard gunshots.
I was scared for my life. A teacher was telling us to go, 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 and then, it's like instinct. You're scared, you're traumatized, so you're running as fast as you can.
One student saw the shooter in a hallway just moments before.
The kid that did it, I've talked to him before. He just snapped. He didn't seem like he'd ever do that. He doesn't really talk to very many people either. He keeps to himself.
Officials say explosive devices were found at the school and in surrounding areas.
Various different kinds of explosive devices have already been detected. One was a CO2 device. Another was a Molotov cocktail. And there are various other types of explosive devices that have been identified both in a home as well as in a vehicle.
Governor Abbott said 10 other people were injured, 1 still in critical condition. Pagorchis and 1 other person are in custody. In Santa Fe, Texas, I'm Omar Jimenez.
There's a new lead tonight in the search for a missing Sarasota teenager, Jabez Spann. Investigators are looking for a person who was seen with Spann just hours before he disappeared. His mother, Tawana, tells ABC7 witnesses saw Jabez and 2 other kids together on Martin Luther King Jr. Way in Newtown. The group was seen around 1 a.m. September 4th. He disappeared just an hour later.
Was there anybody that they met up with? Was there anybody that they might have seen him get in the car with?
One of the 2 kids has been identified. Jabez's mother says she believes other people in the community may have seen the group together and is hoping someone speaks up. A Sarasota man is facing charges of armed robbery tonight. Investigators say Christopher Boston robbed the Walmart neighborhood market Sunday. The store is located on North Tamiami Trail near Myrtle Street in Sarasota. Boston is facing possible additional charges in Manatee County as well. A change is on for the way Manatee County schools. The Duval County School Board today voted unanimously to offer Diana Green the school superintendent position. The board will now put together a contract to submit for board approval. Dr. Green has not yet commented on the decision, and it is unknown whether she will start her job there. Dr. Green has been with the Manatee County School District for 5 years, the last 3 of those in the top position. A national website lists Sarasota as the 2nd most moved to city in the country. Home.com shows Sarasota's 10% population makes it 2nd to only nearby Fort Myers. 3rd on the list was Austin, Texas. The website reports Sarasota has, quote, invested in improving the quality of life, factors like parks, schools, and social services to better serve its growing population. A no swim advisory is being lifted at 4 Sarasota County beaches. The all clear is being given at Turtle Beach, Venice Fishing Pier Beach, and Minnesota Key Beach. The directive comes after the Florida Department of Health received results. Bacteria is now at acceptable levels. A recreational burn ban is also being lifted in Sarasota County. The ban has been in place since April 4th. Now that the chances of wildfire has been reduced because of the recent rain, the ban is being lifted. Now let's head over to ABC7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. First alert forecast. Bob.
Good news of the burn ban. Yes, dropped. Was out at the area beaches today too, Alan, and it was gorgeous out there. Lots of sunshine, nice breeze coming in off the Gulf with the water temperatures in the upper 70s. It's really quite nice. Here we are into mid-May, and by the time we get to late June and into July, that water temperature is 88, 89 degrees. That breeze doesn't do a whole lot, but it's doing a lot now with some inland storms firing up along that sea breeze front. And you can see the activity was pretty intense at times. We had one lone storm there near I-75 and north of northern portions of Manatee County that produced a rainfall and rainfall up to 2 inches in southern Hillsborough County. And what you have during the summer is you have all these outflow boundaries from the heavy rain that's around with these scattered storms, and you got to follow those boundaries to see where the next storm may fire up. And you see one right there moving toward the northwest. Well, there's the storm that it generated. It's not going to be a lot near the coast. In fact, a very pleasant evening for your walk on the beach, if that's what you want to do. And any outdoor activity should be fine near the coast. Some inland storms are still possible. There's that 1.6 inches, around an inch and a half, in just less than an hour there occurred, and 2.8 into southeastern portions of Highlands County. Well, here it comes. We got rid of one low, and now another one is on the way for the weekend. Get a look, Alan. This is all going to help your grass, I think, as it moves off to the north. Some showers and storms around down in Cuba. All that moisture is headed in our direction, and it looks like we could see some periods of some heavy rainfall. But for tonight, it looks to be really quite nice. We're not expecting anything too rough near the coast, and low temperatures will be down into the lower 70s.
It's too late, Bob. I already have dead patches from when we didn't get rain.
Well, look at it this way. You don't have to cut any grass, just weeds.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
And still to come, President Trump's allies wage an increasingly aggressive campaign to undercut the Russia investigation, the high-stakes effort to tip the scales. In a moment.
According to a new survey by U.S. News & World Report, 3 of Alabama's top 4 hotels and resorts are part of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail Resort Collection. The Grand Hotel Marriott Resort in Point Clear, the Battle House Renaissance Mobile Hotel and Spa, and the Renaissance Birmingham Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa. Hey, we didn't invent Southern hospitality, we just offer more of it. Visit rtjgolf.com/resorts to find out more.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
Keeping student athletes safe is a top priority for Suncoast schools. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. We'll learn about Lakewood Ranch's new smart helmet designed to save young football players from future problems. We will also talk to Canine Corral. They'll bring us a rescue runway to showcase adoptable and adorable pets. Plus, Florida Studio Theater previews honor killing and Whole Foods in the kitchen.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
Thank you.
What are you doing? You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit HelpSaveTheNextGirl.com and get involved.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
President Trump is wrapping up his attacks on the Justice Department, amplifying an unfounded theory floated by some conservative voices the FBI may have planted an informant in the Trump campaign. This comes as ABC's Arlette Sains reports his allies are demanding the Justice Department turn over information about a possible intelligence source with links to Russia.
President Trump is latching onto an unfounded theory that an FBI informant worked on his 2016 campaign. The president tweeted, "Reports are there was indeed at least one FBI representative implanted for political purposes into my campaign for president. It took place very early on and long before the phony Russia hoax became a hot fake news story. If true, all-time biggest political scandal." That theory surfaced in a recent column for the National Review. The president tweeting, "If so, this is bigger than Watergate."
I haven't spoken with him directly about that, but certainly seen the reports, and if there is any truth to that, it should certainly be looked into.
On CNN, the president's own attorney suggested if true, it could undermine the special counsel's investigation.
First of all, I don't know for sure, nor does the president, if there really was one. We're told that.
Told that by whom?
We're told that by people who, for a long time, we've been told that there was some kind of infiltration.
Separately, one of the president's top allies who has pushed back on the Russia probe has demanded the Justice Department hand over classified information about an alleged intelligence source linked to the Russia investigation. Congressman Devin Nunes telling Fox News.
And what we're trying to do is get the documents to figure out, did they actually have, what methods were used to open this counterintelligence investigation?
The Washington Post reports the alleged intelligence source is an American citizen who provided information to the CIA and FBI. The New York Times separately reported at least one government informant met on several occasions with former Trump campaign aides Carter Page and George Papadopoulos. The Justice Department declined to comment on the president's claims on Twitter. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, Washington.
Next, the wizard behind the curtain at the Sarasota Republican Party, one of the most eloquent and elegant former chairs of the Sarasota Democratic Party, and the most popular and respected political editor at the Herald Tribune. Next on the Traffic Report.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Welcome back. We end the week, like we end too many weeks, talking about yet another mass shooting, this time at a Texas high school. 9 students and 1 teacher are dead. 10 others are injured after a 17-year-old student walked into an art class and opened fire with a shotgun belonging to his dad. A second student is also in custody. This comes in a week where Publix drew a distinction between its support for Republican gubernatorial candidate Adam Putnam and his, quote, "I'm an NRA sellout," unquote, position. And in lighter news, President Trump accuses President Obama, here we go again, of planting an FBI spy in his presidential campaign, an accusation circulating in conservative media and is unsupported by actual facts. The Mueller campaign is a year old. Will the president sit down with him? And we're not mentioning Stormy Daniels this week. Joining us for more are Jack Brill, the vice chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, Rita Ferrandino, a former chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party, and Zach Anderson, the political editor of the Herald Tribune. And welcome to you all. Let's start with Texas. What's different this time is it was not an AR-15. It was not one of those weapons that everybody's railing against in terms of being a weapon of war. This was your dad's shotgun. And Rita,
how tragic that we're sitting here on a Friday evening discussing that it was, you know, it's a tragedy, it's a deep tragedy, and I think, and I hope and I pray that we as the American people get behind, we have got to do something about smartening our gun laws.
Well, let me ask you about that, because we just smartened our gun laws in Florida, but it doesn't appear to me that this would have dealt with this situation.
Many of us believe that we've hardly done anything here in Florida, and what we did was just a small token to keep things quiet. And I hope the Parkland students and all the students get back to this, their pickets and their.
But let me just stay on that, because this.
Kids are dying.
I understand that. But in this country, people have shotguns, and this was a legally purchased shotgun. This was not a situation where a kid under the age of 21 purchased a AR-15.
Alan, at the end of the day, we have an obligation to our children to keep them safe. They need to be safe when they go to schools. We're a smart society. We have to be able to figure this out. We have to.
Jack, the lieutenant governor of Texas said today that the problem is there are too many entrances to schools. Really?
There is, when you look, obviously, there's a number of entrances, and it only takes one. You can sit there and harden all the entrances. If one student sees somebody and they, opens the door, there's your entire security system's breached.
And that is the way that we end mass shootings at schools?
Didn't say that, but this thing's all being obviously unfolded. So a couple questions happened. I think I remember Mark Zuckerberg was just in the Senate saying Facebook was going to be doing a lot more to watch this. And this idiot is out on Facebook 3 weeks ago with posting Born to Kill and mentioning Nicholas Cruz. So that's a great one on social media for Facebook. Secondly, I'm going to go back to something, you know, obviously there was an inter priors for the whole thing. But as I recall, parents are parents. So how the heck did this kid ever get a hold of his father's shotgun?
Well, those are all really good points, but they're not solutions, and we need solutions. It's time. You know, I work in the education industry, and there's a lot of really strong, good conversation happening around school reform and how to solve this problem. There are districts that are simply just putting their policemen, when they're writing their reports that they do on anybody's streets, putting them in the school parking lots during a school day, just to have more police presence. There's things to do.
But I think the school resource officer was one of the ones injured today, so at least they were engaged.
At least they were engaged.
Hold on, folks. Once again, a president of the United States had to face the cameras after yet another mass shooting. This is what President Trump said today.
My administration is determined to do everything in our power to protect our students, secure our schools, and to keep weapons out of the hands of those who pose a threat to themselves and to others. Everyone must work together at every level of government to keep our children safe.
Zach, what does that mean? I mean, we did something about gun laws in Florida. The federal government has done absolutely nothing.
Well, let's just say first, Alan, this is absolutely sickening what happened today, and it's disturbing that we have to keep talking about events like this on your show and all over the country. I think you brought up a good point about the AR-15. You know, I mean, that really became a rallying cry after Parkland shooting, because that weapon was used in that shooting, and people were really looking to that as we can ban this weapon and let's go from here. But obviously, there is no silver bullet to stopping you know, these types of incidents, that when you have a shotgun and a pistol used. I talked to a Republican lawmaker today who said, gosh, are we going to ban shotguns now? I mean, I've been hunting my whole life and I have lots of shotguns in my family. And it's a legitimate question, and I think there will be a re-evaluation to some degree of what is the most effective way to address this.
Right, we are getting warmed up. We'll have much more on the Week in Washington right after we check the first look weather. Stay with us.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
According to Golf Digest, 2 of the nation's top golf resorts are on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, the Auburn Opelika Marriott at Grand National, and the Renaissance Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa in Birmingham. Plus, the Marriott at Grand National was recognized as Hotel of the Year by Marriott International. Experience luxury and world-class golf Southern style. Visit rtjgolf/resorts or call 800-949-4444 to book your trip to the trail.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
Our conversation on the Week in Washington continues right after we get the check on the first look forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. Beautiful out there in the area beaches. And finally, the beaches are open for swimming now, too, in Sarasota County. They have released the problems as far as that goes, and so you can get out in the water. I know that the waters will be rather mild tomorrow as far as the wave action goes. The wave action was a little high today as a result of the storms that were around in the Gulf all this week. And now, guess what? A steady stream of moisture heading back our way from the south and from Cuba, and a little disturbance will increase our rain chances, unfortunately, for the weekend. And we could see some heavy rainfall at times as the atmosphere will stay juiced up, meaning we'll have a lot of moisture at all levels of the atmosphere, and those storms will be rather intense in terms of producing some heavy rainfall. Not anticipating anything severe, but flooding is not out of the question, some localized flooding. And we're keeping an eye on the tropics next weekend as well. There's some indications that we may see a tropical system come out of the Western Caribbean and head toward Florida. The visible satellite imagery showing most of the storms now well inland, pushing off to the east. And you can see that from the radar imagery right down the spine of the peninsula. Showers and storms kind of gathering as a result of the 2 sea breezes coming together right there. And then moving off to the northeast. Some area of showers developing here in the southeast Gulf of Mexico. That is a little indication of the moisture that could be headed our way. Again, those storms are starting to make a break toward the coast now as that sea breeze is being worn down a little bit. Just one lone shower there in southeast Manatee County. That's all we have left here near the coast. The overall satellite imagery showing that that low pressure area that had been around all week long is now scooted off to the north, and now a lot of clouds and showers and storms down here streaming northward into Cuba and then eventually the Florida Straits, and then for us on Saturday and Sunday. this dry air could have stopped it, but unfortunately, this system is just too strong. It's eroding the western edge, or at least the leading edge of this dry air as it makes its way northward, and this is going to retreat as high pressure builds to the east of the state and will kind of blow that dry air west of our area. We'll see that east to southeasterly wind flow tomorrow, and that will give us a better chance to see showers and storms moving from the east to the west. We haven't seen that in a while, and looks like some of those storms could produce some locally heavy rainfall, especially if that sea breeze develops and gets pinned right near the coast. If that happens, the storms have a tendency to come on up and then do an about face and not do much in terms of moving and just pretty much rain themselves out right where they develop. So that could be an issue for us on Saturday and Sunday afternoon specifically. 81 degrees right now. It's nice out there. Southwest wind at 9. That's a sea breeze, and the dew point temperature at 71. 2995 on the barometer, and that is starting to fall right now. High today was 2 degrees shy of the normal high. The rainfall we could use a little bit for the year. We're 2 inches plus below average for the year. Well, nationally, not a lot going on here over the lower Mississippi Valley. Some heavy weather all week long over the northeast. As you just see that, look at that. It's the Cuban Express bringing all that moisture right on into the nation's capital, all the way into the Ohio Valley. And for us, we'll see the potential, as I said, so some heavy rainfall at times. Not an all-day washout on Saturday. Could even see some storms come Saturday night and Sunday morning as well. So for boaters tomorrow, outside of all that, we're going to see seas running right around 2 feet or less with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. As far as the water temperature goes, right now it's at 79 degrees, 70% chance for scattered storms. That again on Sunday, and 50% chance on Monday, a little less on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
When I was growing up, my mom told us, always treat others the way you want to be treated. She did business with companies that shared her values, like Mutual of Omaha. She had a guaranteed whole life insurance policy through United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, a Mutual of Omaha company. When my mother passed away, her United of Omaha policy helped cover her funeral expenses and bills, and they had money on its way to us within 24 hours.
United of Omaha is here to take care of you. When you call the number on your screen, we'll help find the right policy for you. If you're between 45 and 85, you can get coverage up to $25,000 with no medical exam. Call us right now at the number on your screen.
Now I know I'll be taking care of my family, even after I'm gone.
United of Omaha guaranteed whole life insurance. Call or go online now. Be there for their future.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Welcome back. We are talking about the Texas school shooting today, the upcoming summit between the U.S. and North Korea, and the Russia probe. And joining us for more are Jack Brill, the vice chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, Rita Ferrandino, the former chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party, and Zach Anderson, political editor of the Sarasota Tribune. Let's continue the talk about the gun issue, because there is a Florida angle to it that really has popped up this week. Publix supermarkets has given more money to Republican gubernatorial candidate Adam Putnam than I believe any candidate in history. even though, as it's been pointed out, that Adam Putnam says that he is a self-described sellout for the NRA, to which Publix then responded that it supports Adam Putnam, but not the NRA. Zach, this has really kind of caught fire in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, this was sort of a fascinating intersection between a commercial brand and a hot button political issue, and you saw Publix really sort of backpedal and say, no, we support the candidate, but we don't necessarily support his positions on guns, and we've never given money to the NRA. It just shows how sensitive this issue has become after the Parkland shooting, and I'm sure it'll get even more sensitive now after this Texas shooting, and the NRA has really become a lightning rod in all of this. We saw it here in Sarasota in the congressional race with Congressman Vern Buchanan, who got money from the NRA for some of his campaigns, and then Gabby Giffords, a congresswoman who was shot by a gunman and who has become a gun control activist. Her PAC started going after Buchanan and calling him bought and paid for by the NRA. It was a relatively small number of political contributions that he got, but he's endorsed by the NRA. I think this is an issue that is going to be salient in a lot of these swing elections this cycle.
Rita, let's first talk about the public situation, because there are some Democrats who want a boycott of Publix because of its support of Adam Putnam. Anybody who does any shopping around here knows that's not really a pragmatic thing to do. But what are our local Democrats saying? First of all,
I have a long history of catching Publix. They have always been very partisan. They're very pro-GOP. And during my tenure as chairman, I had many conversations where I called into Lakeland and the leadership to complain that their partisan activities were offensive to me as a patron.
And what was the response when you would do that?
They're very clear that their allegiance is to the Republican Party. I stopped shopping at Publix a very long time ago for that very reason. And I think the reason this is such a big lightning rod is because they've got this long history of partisanship, and there just is no reason. We've got here in Sarasota, I'm going to argue with you, there are many alternatives to Publix today, and there's no reason to support. I don't want the money that I worked so hard for to go to supporting partisan activities.
Well, my point, in fact, though, I mean, I do know, because I do look at these things, that Publix does give money to some Democratic office holders, incumbents usually, but including incumbents in the Tampa Bay area.
It's not even, if that's true, which I'm happy for you to note, it's nowhere near any of this. They gave almost $1 million to play in a Republican primary. They have given nothing to any Democratic candidates. That doesn't feel good to me.
Jack, let me just ask you for 1 second, is some opinion, even among Republicans around here, changing in terms of what the NRA is doing and the influence that they wield? We had Joe Gruters here just a couple of weeks ago, very emotional, because the NRA basically sent out a press release saying he is a failure because he voted for the Florida gun legislation.
And Joe's also a father of 3 children, like Zach's, your 2 children. They're going to be in public schools, and Joe did the right thing on that. And I want to go back to the Publix for a second. You got to remember with Adam Putnam, he's a Bartow, family. Lakeland, they're all Polk County. They've been supporting him since his first run of office, all the way through. And, Rita won't like this comment, but, maybe they've got a knack for picking the best candidates to support.
Or the fact that he's the agriculture commissioner and they've been getting some kind of favors for their work. That's another potential side of it.
Another side of it, but, and you have to look at, from the agricultural, standpoint, where do they get a lot of their produce? So there's different ways to look at everything.
But the bottom line is that's their activity.
Jack, let me bring up for a second something that Zach brought up a few minutes ago, and that is the Giffords gun group throwing money against Vern Buchanan. The Giffords organization is not something that they don't target every congressperson in every election cycle. If they're going to do it, they do it because they're doing polling or there's an indication that seats may be vulnerable.
And I'm going to say for $15,000, if they think Vern is a sellout to the NRA for $15,000, they need to have a reevaluation of what what that will do. Yes, there's a little, there's been some buzz, this year, but this is still a very, very solid, likely Republican seat. Vern will be reelected. He's going to have a good, there'll be a good race this year. But I think their intentions are good. I think they're targeting the wrong congressman for the wrong amounts. There are a lot of other folks in other parts of the country.
Rita, I'll give you a chance to respond to that.
Well, $15,000 to some of us is a lot of money, and Vern did take the money, and that's the consequence.
I'm saying he couldn't be bought for $15,000. I don't disagree with you. It's a lot of money, but Vern's not going to be bought for
he took
$15,000.
the money, and in today's world, the Parkland students came out pretty clear, tying the NRA to death. It was on all of their placards. It still is. So if you're taking money from the NRA, that's a consequence.
There is other stories in the news this week, including the latest in the Russia investigation, and the president's new attorney, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, has been all over the place in terms of his defense of the president, talking about whether or not the president will sit down with the Mueller team, and talking about everything else that is orbiting around this investigation, including whether or not the Obama FBI placed a FBI spy in the Trump campaign. This is what the former mayor had to say.
I believe if there was an embedded person, that person cleared us because the FBI cleared us. I wonder what the heck is the legitimacy of the Mueller investigation in the first place. The FBI came to the conclusion there was no evidence of collusion with Russia. End of case.
Zach, hold that thought for a second, because, Jack, I got to ask you, I have not seen the FBI release anything saying that they have come to any kind of conclusion that there was not collusion.
Well, here's the great thing. Rudy Giuliani has got us talking about what he said, what the difference between what he said on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Guess what? We don't know what the strategy really is.
And Zach, let me ask you this, because polling shows that that the Mueller campaign is losing credibility, the Mueller investigation, I'm sorry, is losing credibility among Americans, because the president is out there saying what he is saying, Giuliani is out there saying what he's saying. In the end, is it an effective strategy?
I think it is an effective strategy to some degree by keeping Republicans on board. That's the strategy. They want to keep their base from defecting. The majority of Americans still believe that Mueller should be able to do his investigation. That hasn't eroded substantially. I think it's more than 60% of people still believe that Mueller should be able to be unfettered in his investigation. One of the interesting things that Giuliani said this week was that Mueller was not going to indict Trump, and that's fascinating. I mean, I think a lot of legal analysts thought that was probably what was going to happen.
Can you even believe that?
I don't know, but apparently there's people in the Justice Department, there's years of opinions going back that said that you can't indict a sitting president. So this wasn't a big surprise, but it just underscores the fact of how important the 2018 election is. I think Republicans and Democrats are really going to be talking about, that this is critical in terms of being a check on the president. And Democrats are openly talking about impeachment, which really ups the stakes of this election. And I think Republicans are going to use that to push back dramatically, but we see that that's probably the mechanism. If anything is going to happen from this investigation, that's probably how it's going to be enforced.
Rita, on Friday nights after we watch ABC7 at 7, I go home and I watch Bill Maher with my wife, and he basically said last week, why don't Democrats have the cojones to actually campaign on this very issue?
That I completely agree with. I mean, I think it is going to be a really big issue in the 2018 election. And you're right, this is all hitting a feverish pitch because it's all about the elections and midterms.
Jack?
And going back to something you said earlier about the Mueller investigation, it's a year. So we've got taxpayer money that's been spent, all this money for the last year, and then it just goes on and on and on, and the money keeps getting spent, and then they take multiple lives of their own.
And every time you turn around, there's more to investigate.
We are going to pick up where Jack left off right after we take this break.
accolades are great. Just wait until you see our prices. Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 4 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317, go online, or visit a Target store today.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now. Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guest joining us right now for final thoughts. And Jack, I'm going to start with you because you said this has been going on for a year now and it's time to wrap it to a close. The Vice President said something to that effect earlier this week. But you got to point out to you that, Whitewater was a 7.5-year investigation. Watergate was a 2-year investigation. There were almost 200 congressional hearings about what happened in the Obama administration. Hillary Clinton sat down for over 11 hours during the campaign with the House Judiciary Committee. Should the length of an investigation be determinant about whether or not it's worthy or not worthy?
Well, I think you've got to look at if it doesn't start taking multiple paths, and these things all have legs. Every time an investigation starts out with a very specific mission, here we are a year later, there's probably 12 different missions going on in investigation in areas. And obviously, all the arrests that have been made for are the folks that did all their stupid stuff, had nothing to do with the administration.
But how do you know what Mueller has or does not have? I asked this to Greg Steube last week, saying if there was collusion, we would know about it now. That's not how prosecutors work.
That's true. I agree. I agree with you. They've got to hold their cards close. That's their job.
Rita, there is something to fatigue when it comes to this, and I know people on both sides of the political spectrum who are just dog-tired about hearing about Russia, 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 like Marsha Brady every day.
So I think we need to let the process work as it's supposed to. It's not, under a timeline. We have seen, as the examples you just gave, that these are laborious, difficult, very important to get. We've got our the integrity of our elections process in the balance here, and so I think we should investigate to find out what it is. And I don't, if the American people are tired of hearing about Russia, that we're going to stop investigating because of the public opinion.
Do you remember Nixon saying a year of Watergate is long enough?
That was a really impactful.
Zach, you have your finger on the pulse of politics around here. Do you have any change in your sense of whether or not the Russia investigation will have any impact on the midterm elections?
It's hard to say. You don't really see candidates campaigning really aggressively on it. Democrats, I think, are a little bit nervous about going all in on this because they know that some people do agree with the president that this is a witch hunt, or at least they don't think that it's the most important thing that we could be talking about, maybe healthcare, maybe the economy, maybe things like that. So I think there is a little bit of reluctance for Democrats, especially in locally where a lot of the seats lean Republican, to go necessarily all in on this. But this is an investigation that has produced quite a significant number of results. There's a lot of people that have been charged. There's a lot of people, that are still being interviewed and under investigation. So at this point, I think it's hard to say that they haven't produced anything, and I think the American people, when you look at polls, for the most part, still do support him going forward on
Real
this.
quick, Jack, should the president sit down with Robert Mueller?
No.
Why?
No need to. There isn't any collusion. Let's save the taxpayers' money and get the investigation over with.
Rita.
Absolutely. What is he this is America. He should be held to the same standards the rest of us would be. He should do it.
Zach, Rudy Giuliani says that there is no legal requirement for the president to do that, and then one thinks back to Watergate, and the Supreme Court upheld the subpoena against Nixon to turn over the tapes, and President Clinton did sit in front of the grand jury.
A lot of people thought it would hurt Trump that he didn't turn over his tax returns, that it looked like he was hiding something. You could argue that it would hurt him if it looked like he didn't want to testify, but he's been able to defy, that type of speculation his whole candidacy and his whole political career. So I think that with this president that shoots from the hip, and you don't know if what he's going to say might put him in legal jeopardy, I would be surprised if they actually have him testify, but who knows?
We have to leave it there. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on the U.S. Embassy moving to Jerusalem. Republican or Democrat, Israel has always been a unifying cause, defending its right to exist, and it still is, but there is a growing divide among the American Jewish community when it comes to the government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the lack of progress when it comes to peace with the Palestinians. Sam says, finally a president who keeps his promises and does what he says he is going to do. Joanne says the move to Jerusalem was not the fulfillment of a promise, it was posturing by Trump, pure and simple. And Kevin says we can no longer be seen as a peacemaker in the Middle East, and what did the Palestinians get in return? Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Jack Brill is the vice chair of the Sarasota Republican Party, and former Democratic Party chair Rita Ferrandino, and the political editor of the Sarasota Herald Tribune, Zach Anderson. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather. Plus, students at Stoneham Douglas High School react what they're saying on social media following the attack on the Texas school today.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here.
Why, you don't like my hair? The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds. No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm going to show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch the Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Alan, thank you. Here's the Lakewood Ranch webcam showing some clouds around, and notice those storms kind of building up well east now. The sea breeze coming on in and causing those storms to fire up, and now things have cleared out and they're all over. Weather headlines read like this: rain stays elevated through the weekend. We have a little disturbance down to our south, which once again will move northward and bring us a chance for showers and a few thunderstorms, and we could see some heavy rainfall at times. And then we're going to show you the depiction of yet another tropical disturbance that could come up, not this weekend again, but next weekend as well. That rainfall pretty heavy down south, and you can see that just north of Jamaica into Cuba, and then in the western tip of Cuba too, all that heading northbound. And that means good chances for showers and storms developing. And we also have high pressure building as that low pressure that was around earlier this week has shifted off to the north. High pressure will build back in over the Atlantic, and that will give us an east to southeasterly wind component, which will allow for more convergence, or actually the butting up of the sea breeze, and that southeast wind will cause more showers and storms to fire up along that sea breeze front. You can see these are trying to drive toward the coast, but not having much success as the west to southwest wind continues to move on in. A few showers earlier today, and Manatee County produced some locally heavy rainfall. You'll notice that these winds here along the coast are out of the west, and that's that sea breeze. They're light, and then these are coming out of the east and northeast, and where the two meet is where the showers and storms usually fire up. Now, the east to southeast winds tomorrow will be a little stronger, and that means they'll have a better chance to getting to the coast later in the afternoon and evening. And as far as those winds go down south, similar story there. We have currently 81 degrees, and the relative humidity at 72%. Southwest winds are at 9. And the forecast tomorrow looks like this. We'll start off with partly cloudy skies. Clouds increasing by the noon hour, and a good chance for showers and storms mainly in the afternoon and evening. They'll be scattered about. Some places may not get as much, while others will. And it looks as though that'll be the case again on Saturday night. We'll still have a 40% chance for storms into Sunday morning, and then a much better chance into Sunday night. You just see that steady stream of moisture just chugging along due north all the way into West Virginia, even into Ohio. This moisture stream continues from just south of Cuba right through Florida. And the dry air staying to the west of us now, and this kind of eroding that away as it moves off to the north. It's pushing that dry air to the west, and you can see that all located down there in the Western Caribbean. This is what I'm talking about. This is next Thursday, okay? So we'll take you through time in a long-range forecast. You'll see a closed low emerge out of there and then move along the Gulf Stream as a possible tropical storm. Now, this isn't this Saturday. Again, this is next Saturday. It's been doing this for the past 10 days now. It's been showing this little low pressure area developing. So it's a long way off, and so we just got to keep an eye on it down there and see if anything does pop up early in the season. Well, beach and boating tomorrow. Scattered storms, I alluded, mostly in the afternoon and evening. Otherwise, seas running right around 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The UV index will be an 8 tomorrow with those showers coming later in the day. The rain chance staying elevated Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday, dropping a little bit. Tuesday and Wednesday looks to be pretty good. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures into the mid-80s. Alan will be right back after this. Stick around.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most.
Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Checking primetime headlines, survivors of the school shooting in Parkland are taking to social media tonight. Students expressing outrage and heartbreak after the latest school shooting in Texas. That's where authorities say a gunman opened fire this morning, killing at least 10 people at Santa Fe High School. One person is now in custody and the second person is being detained. Parkland students telling students at the Texas school they are standing with them during this difficult time. Emma Gonzalez tweeting, "You deserve more than thoughts and prayers, and after supporting us by walking out, we will be there to support you by raising up your voice." President Trump has a new pick to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs. Robert Wilkie has been serving as the VA's acting secretary since President Trump fired VA Secretary Howard Shulkin in late March. Trump initially nominated White House physician Ronnie Jackson to lead the VA, but Jackson withdrew from the confirmation process amid allegations of improper behavior. We are just hours away from the royal wedding. Prince Harry's soon-to-be wife will be walking down the aisle herself. It's an unprecedented move for a royal bride in the UK, and one Meghan Markle decided herself. You can watch the royal wedding live right here on ABC7 in a 5-hour special edition of Good Morning America, hosted by Robin Roberts and David Muir. Coverage of the royal wedding, a modern fairy tale, will start at 5 a.m. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend.